Full time at the London Stadium, like London buses, West Ham United have won at home again. No win at the London Stadium in 248 days is cancelled out by 2 wins in 6 days. It is a funny old game as West Ham have just about got over the line at home to Burnley, 3 goals to 2, a late consolation. From Josh Cullen made the last few moments rather nervy, but West Ham with another crucial 3 points and only still in the relegation zone on goals scored. No, sorry, goal difference because they've just scored. There we go. There's 1 goal difference in it. 1 goal between these two teams now. And boy, Sam, does that league table look a lot better after the last 6 days?
It does. My lucky staying away from the London Stadium seems to be working. But yeah, what a difference a week makes. I think if you'd said this to any West Ham fan a week ago that we'd be level on points, I don't think any of us would have believed anyone. Yeah, what a turnaround! What a turnaround!
Absolutely. Once again, like last week, we went 1-0 down in the first half. A little later than last week, Ian Fleming after 35 minutes, and I saw that and I went, here we go again, a win last week, and we're gonna scupper our opportunity to push on. But then just before half time, Callum Wilson heads it goalwards from pretty close range to score again a perfect time. We scored just before half time last week to make it 2-1, this time to equalise. What an important and crucial goal from Callum Wilson, Sam.
Yeah, and it's what you get when you've got a proper goal scorer on the pitch. And we've had Antonio for a long time, and Wilson's in that same mould that he just knows how to score goals. He knows where the back of the net is. Yeah, absolutely key time. And from everything that I was listening to, I was reading, we didn't turn up until we were 1-0 down, really. So which is a little bit worrying. But yeah, if we're going to come back in that kind of way, then yeah, excellent.
And we left it late. I mean, Thomas Souček with the second goal to take the lead with 13 minutes left on the clock. And once again, Thomas Souček comes on and he scores. Last week it was the sealer. This week it was the get ahead, and the second goal to establish a lead for the Hammers. No matter what you do, no matter how it seems to work, you cannot keep that man A, out of the goals, and B, out of the action. 10 goals last season. He scored back to back at the London Stadium in the space of 6 days. He's at times he can be frustrating, Thomas Souček, but in a team which lacks goals at the moment, Thomas Souček is providing them.
Off the bench, I've always thought he's a great option for us, because you wouldn't want to come up against Souček when he's got fresh legs and you haven't, because he's powerful and he turns up in places. And Pat Nevin described him on the BBC this afternoon as a natural goal scorer, which I guess he is. I don't want many West Ham fans to have seen that, because we've seen some of the other things that he does. But yeah, you bring him on to be that powerful presence in the box, and he is going to get into the right places. And how many times over the years, especially under Moyes, did he turn up when we needed a goal? Was Souček the guy that was in the right place at the right time? And yeah, so many times he's done that for us, so many times.
Absolutely. Let's take some comments. Good evening to everybody. I hope you are well on massive 3 points. Jay, thanks for joining us. I hope you are well. We never make it easy. Plus your sound is awful. Oh dear. I don't know why. There's not a lot I can do about that right now. Sam, can you hear me all right?
I can hear you fine, yeah.
Okay. I don't know what's going on there, Graham. My apologies. I'm not sure. Jay says, good to hear. Strong win for us with our next 5 games to come. Can only hope Burnley don't have favourable games to play, but I'm good. I think there was an issue with Areola with the last goal. I haven't seen it, but Josh Cullen scored in the 97th minute. And apparently there was some issue with Areola there, so we'll get Larry's thoughts on that hopefully very shortly when he joins us, because of course he can watch over there in America. We listened to BBC Radio 5 Live, and one thing that I did pick up from listening was between the second goal and the third goal, especially after the third goal, you could hear the atmosphere inside the London Stadium. You know, there was a couple of chants going around, and it was very clear on the radio, Sam. And once again, it seems like in the end we've managed to create a decent atmosphere in there, and everybody's let their let everything off their chest beforehand at what looked like a very well attended protest. And they've got in the ground, they've got behind them, and we've created another good atmosphere for the second time in a week.
Yeah, and when we get the good atmosphere, we win the games. It's what's been missing all season. We've been calling it for it on the channel for weeks and weeks and weeks. Go in the ground and support the team. And the last two games, and actually a little bit against Tottenham as well. And the time we were ahead against Tottenham, there was that support as well. But these have been the only games that really, I think, there's been that 90 minutes of cheering on the team, cheering them when they concede a goal, and the team have responded to it. And yeah,
And to
we've
be
won.
fair, Sam, for the first time this season, it's probably two games in a row where we've actually had an interest in the game up until the 90 minutes, where the place has been half empty with 20 minutes to go.
That's also very true. That's also very true. We've had a lot of games where, yeah, it's been a cricket score, and it's been the writing's been on the wall by the 42nd minute, and yeah, that is also true.
So it's positive, and then really good for the third goal, which was then, as it turned out, very needed and essential. Kyle Walker-Peters gets his first goal for the club. A handy player. I've liked the signing. I've never walked away from a game, Sam, and went, you know what, Walker-Peters was awful today. A steady, really good player. He's come off the bench in the last few weeks, and he came off the bench last week and solidified it up with the other 15 defenders that was on the pitch. And it sounds like the same happened today with Igor and Walker-Peters coming on to really hammer home a defensive unit, and he's gone up the other end and contributed with a goal today as well.
Yeah, it's been a solid signing for us, I think, and one of those players that everywhere he's gone, he's done a solid job over the years. He was always solid when he was at Southampton. He was solid when he was at Spurs. He's never going to get an England call up or anything like that, but he's going to give you his all. And yeah, that's absolutely what we've got out of him. And we've got to remember he was keeping Wan-Bissaka out of the team, and probably rightly for a few weeks. And that's our hammer of the year from last year. And since Wan-Bissaka's come back in, I think he's looked really good again. But yeah, he's a quality player. That yeah, he's always gonna run for the team. He's always going to come back. He's always going to put in one of those tackles. Yeah, and they're the players that we need. And I think for me, from what I was hearing, from what I was reading today, another good game by Kilman. And it just seems we've got a manager now, or we've got a system, whatever it happens to be, that's working for Max Kilman. And we know from what he's done before what a good player he can be when he does play well, but starting to lead from the back as well. And that seems to be getting Tobido playing better as well.
Absolutely. And I mean, there's no coincidence. I know we conceded two today, but it's no coincidence that the defence has looked a lot more solid in the last couple of games, and it has a massive impact going up the pitch. Right, let's see some comments before we get Larry on. I literally predicted West Ham 3, Burnley 2. There we go. Very good. Very good. Thank goodness we won, Sharky. Absolutely. Not a great performance, but a really good 3 points for sure. And here is somebody that actually watched the game. I hope so. Larry, we've won again, mate. Welcome back. How are you?
Buzzing. Victory, my friends. Victory. Very happy after that one. I tell you, I'm sorry I did my reaction and sent it to your dad before this. So, like I think I heard you guys say, it wasn't our best performance, really. You know, at that first half right there, both teams were kind of feeling themselves out. I like to call it how we looked like we were afraid to lose, but we didn't want to win. We just didn't have that. But you can't ask for more. We got the 3 points, so I'm ecstatic.
Absolutely. The first half hour, Larry, obviously conceded just afterwards, 1-0 down, as it looked like heading into half time. Was it a slow start today?
Well, I think both teams looked really slow, and then about the 20th minute or so, they started picking up the pace a lot more, start being down on our end, really getting going. And then that one play right there, you know, and I was a big proponent of Doof and stuff like that, but back in the box, he's a young guy, he's still learning, but he gets a very timid. He gave a lot of space right there, opening it up to where they could pass it in the middle to Fleming with the head ball goal and stuff. Where again, we're not aggressive enough in that box defensively sometimes to pick these guys up. There was nobody really hardly around them. So we got to have bodies in there hitting him up there while they're going for the ball. And then, as usual, as soon as we give up a goal, we saw a spring in our step. And then we started performing a little bit more, a little better. But you know, I tell you, my sense was we really didn't get energetic until good old Suchek came on, and then the energy just seemed to change a little bit. And I was sad to see Potts go out. That hamstring. Hopefully it's all right, because that can linger on. So international break's probably a good thing in that part, because you saw he's struggling. If you've ever had a hamstring injury, man, those things can linger, and you don't know if it gets better. So
Oh, right. I thought it was just a tactical sub, but it sounds like some issue for Freddie Potts, hopefully. I mean, it's a good time for him then for the
yeah,
break up and coming. We've got a week off before we head to Bournemouth in a couple of weekends' time. So
yeah,
I said to Sam a little bit earlier, a really crucial time to score to get back on level terms with a goal from Callum Wilson to go into the
yeah.
break level. We did it last week, scored just before half time, and we did it again this week, and it's so pivotal, and it massively helped us today.
100%. And if you guys notice, something is changing now that it wasn't
Yeah.
before. We actually have people in the box now. Doof made a great cross earlier in the second half, and nobody's there. He got frustrated. But if you look at all three of our goals, they were off of deflections off of other shots. Somerville's had the one, he tried to get it. Wilson was in the right place. Paqueta, strong shot, the goaltender, rebound off him. Potato Salad was in the right place. And then the same thing again. Potato Salad with a banger outside the box. That was a nice shot. Deflection there. And then what happens? Peters there. Like to see Peters get that goal. So yeah, it was good. It was good stuff there. We're having the guys in the box attacking there. That's what we needed.
Mm, absolutely. I've just had a message from Dan, the Burnley fan, who sent us a video for the preview, and he said, "Fair play, mate. You deserved it. We were very poor." Seems like a game where they seem a little bit frustrated with how it all unfolded, but. I mean, massive momentum, Sam, as we head into the international break, and it's always good to get a win to go into the international break. There's nothing worse than, I mean, West Ham years ago would have probably ended up conceding again there 3-3, and everybody feels negative going into the break. But another 3 points, 6 points in a week, and we can sit back with our feet up now and say, you know what, for the last fortnight, we've done everything we can to move ourselves in a positive direction, and then Bournemouth next week or in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, we've won those must-win games. We've done so with a bit of a performance behind them. I don't think we were as good today as we were last week from what I've seen, but again, we've ground out a result. We've scored 6 goals in 2 games, which again, I think for a team where we've not been scoring goals is
Yeah,
absolutely good.
Yeah.
I think
for
there's a good
sure.
chance Bournemouth will lose to Villa tomorrow. I think I'd fancy Villa to win that one at home. And then I think it gives us a chance against Bournemouth. They're going to be a team that have gone into the international break on the back of 2 losses. I think since the last international break, they'd have only beaten Forest, and they'd have
Mm.
gone from the dizzy heights of looking like they might go top of the league when they were up, weren't they, against Palace, and they conceded.
Yeah.
Were they 3 up? They conceded 3, or were they 2 up, and it ended up 3-3 anyway.
2 up. Yeah.
Two
Um,
up, yeah.
they're going to be a team that's maybe going into the international break thinking a bit, oh, this is a bit more tough than what we thought it was going to be, against a team that is maybe on a bit of an up. It's one of those games that West Ham of old would have then come away with something from. Even when we're right down there scrapping at the wrong end of the table, it could well be one of those games if we can take some confidence into that.
Absolutely. One thing I want to pick up on is the goals. As Sam's just said, 6 goals in 2 games. I know one of them was an own goal. So if you want to be pedantic, 5 goals from us. But one key point I want to pick up on is Bowen has not scored any of those 6 goals. Now, we've been sat here and we've spoke about our, confusion and sort of concern of where goals are going to come from, and everybody goes, well, Bowen's going to score, but apart from that, where are goals coming from? 6 goals in 2 games, not one from Jarrod Bowen. Now, I'm not saying I'm saying for the team that's a good thing. Obviously Bowen would like to get himself on the score sheet, and we'd like to see Bowen there, but I think it shows that goals can be spread around, and there's players there competent and able enough to help and support Jarrod Bowen, who's inevitably going to be at the top of that goal scorer list coming end of the season, Larry.
Yeah, I think his time will come. Like I said, if you watch it, he didn't have his best performance today. He gave up the ball a lot in the midfield, and it happens. But it'll come because he's trying. But the thing, like I said, is it's great to see that we have a collective group that are hungry to get around that box for all that stuff. Even like Potato Salad last week when he had his goal again, being around the box. Things that that I really was critical of last year that didn't have, they're starting to do that now, and it'll come around. Like I said, Bowen, he's a great player. He's our captain, so it's just a matter of time. Everybody goes through their spells. And what a feeling, Jake. You can say we scored 5 goals. I'll take their own goals 6-2, baby, anytime. But
Yeah.
the thing is, we've got all those goals, and Bowen hasn't. Wait till Bowen catches on fire. That even tells you we got more to come because you're not going to keep him down for long.
And Sam, it's the fact that we're getting ourselves into those positions, as Larry's just said.
100%.
In the past, under Potter and all the rest of it, we were scared to go forward in the sense of, a ball would be going into the box to nobody or to one player. Now you've got Souček, who made that late run last week to score the third against Newcastle. You've got players and you've got options in and around the box. And I think one thing Nuno's tried to stress and bring into it is to get people forward and make those late runs and try and provide some more options attackingly. And it's working because, as we said, 6 in 2 games.
I think so many times this year I've been at games and got frustrated at Somerville because he'll run down the wing or he'll cut inside or whatever he'll do, and then he'll get somewhere, and then there's no one else there, so he just gives the ball up. He's got no hold-up play at all. That's cool. That's not his game. But he gets somewhere, there'll be nothing there, so he kick the ball out or he give it to their defenders, and it just seems to be we've changed it around and gone. Everyone else get in the box. You know what he's going to do. So you need to be going down on the overlap, whether that's Bowen, whether it's Walker Peters, whether it's Wan-Bissaka or Souček or Wilson, but it's playing to all those players' strengths as well. Even Paquetá, we're seeing him sort of do more, but from the edge of the box, where he's, I think, much more effective when the ball comes out to him and then he can get that strike. We're playing like we did under Moyes, but under Moyes worked, not under Moyes at the end when it all got a bit turgid. But it's exciting. It's exciting to be watching us again. Certainly more last week. I'm looking forward to watching Match of the Day tonight and seeing exactly how it played out tonight. But it's not been often we've been able to say that this season.
And I don't think it's a coincidence that we are getting more attacking opportunities and there's more people in those positions because Callum Wilson's there. We've got a striker, we've got a number 9 who's holding the ball up, because in the past we've tried these attacking balls and we're getting the ball up there, but it's just coming straight back at us. All of a sudden now we've got Wilson holding it off, holding it up, laying it off, and then people are mingling around and people are getting forward. Wilson makes a massive difference. And, we've all got to sit here and go, at the end of the day, I looked at that signing in the summer and I went, for goodness sake, there's no ambition there. But apart from Antonio, can either of you mention a player under Sullivan, over the last 15 years? Is there a player that, and I know it's a small amount of time, that has looked like he's going to have as good of an impact as Antonio? It's like we've replaced Antonio with Antonio, but it's just Wilson. And Fulker's going to go in January, whatever. But we've got Wilson there now, who, if we can just keep him fit, if we don't, we're back in trouble, And I think Wilson is very important now, If he gets injured, then we go back to Bowen up front, Paquetá up front, not holding the ball up, nobody getting in attacking positions. Wilson is becoming, by the week, Larry, so important.
I agree, and he's involved in a lot of plays there. But we also have to look, and we can see in the last 2 games what a difference when we have midfielders with some pace. And I can tell you, you look at that match, you watch Fernandez out there, and someone tell me that he had one of the best games out of our guys today. He had in the second half, he had 2 brilliant passes up the pitch where we had opportunities to score and stuff like that. I'm not sure if he got that one to Souček, who had to but he was all over. So, and then Potts, he loves to defend. He's fast. He's moving. Hopefully the injuries are there, but that combination with them there and then putting Paquette at the number 10, I mean, it really gets up there, because sometimes our struggles were we were so dang slow we couldn't get the ball to the midfield. So what we would do was we'd send, I like to call it a Hail Mary up there. We send a Hail Mary up there and people were dangling, trying to get it. You got 2 defenders on one, striker and stuff like that. But I'm with you. Wilson has been pleasant surprise, but with his age and stuff like today, they were even saying, the pundits were saying, you have to be careful because it won't, I don't know if he can do a full game, you know what I mean? Because he gets tired, but I'm very happy
20
with his
minutes
performance.
tops. An
Yeah,
hour,
I'm happy
20
with his
minutes top seems
performance.
to be the limit. That seems to be the ceiling for
Yeah.
him, which is as long as we can keep him fit for that hour, and he's very good for that hour. He's going to make that positive difference in that sense, right? Comments. and so he misses the Bournemouth game.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
now
he'll
all
be
of a
out.
sudden we don't want Potts to be injured, because then you've got Paqueta and Potts out, and then the midfield
Exactly.
is decimated for
Yeah,
for Bournemouth. So can
true.
get back to fitness. And then we've got one, and then Fernandez, and then whether it's Magasser or Souček that comes in to replace the other one there. Louis says, yeah, good to see 4 different goal scorers who aren't Bowen, even though we'd love him to score. Absolutely hit the like button. Some of him does struggle with end product. We need to get him making that final ball, or getting himself into that shooting position. Nuno needs a lot of praise. I mean, I've been critical of these late defensive substitutions because it has invited pressure, and there was a lot of nail biting at the London Stadium last week. Certainly, where around where I was, just people could see we literally had a back line of like 7. There were 7 in a line, and then about a bank of 3 in midfield, and that was it. Or a bank of 2 in midfield, and then there was just Bowen, and then no one was within 30 yards of Bowen, and we were literally fighting and parking the bus to save our life. And it seems like that was the same against Igor, Walker Peters. They all went on today.
Yeah,
So he's trying to
exactly.
get a lead, Nuno, and he's protecting it with his life by chucking on as many defenders as he can. Sam, that's all right until we concede a last-minute goal like we did today to, for a team to equalise, and we throw away, and then the fans jump on and be critical.
Yeah, I tell you, I'm sorry, I know this is saying, but real quick, that was all aerial. There's no way in the world he shouldn't have just caught that ball, and that's a deflating that final goal. That was ridiculous. That was all on aerial.
Yeah, Sam.
Yeah, I know where you were sat last week, and I can hear those conversations around you. I've been there several times with those same conversations, and I'm not against a team fighting like we are, having to bring on striker and having to bring on defenders to see out games. It's inevitable when you're scrapping. You need to see out a game, and I would much rather that we had 7 defenders on the pitch at the end and we scraped a 2-1 or a 3-2 or 3-1 last week than we tried to stick with a 4-4, 4-5-1 or whatever and conceded a goal because there weren't enough players at the back or whatever. So I'm not necessarily against the defensive changes when they work. It sounds like it was scrappy today, and yeah, whether it's Ariola's fault, whether there were 2 hands on the ball, I've not seen it yet. But clearly, the referee and VAR have said there weren't 2 hands on the ball. So you've got to put that down to the goalkeeper. But they all seem to be playing for each other right now. And even when the players come off the bench, and there was a young lad on the bench today, wasn't there? There was someone from I think he might have even been from the under-18s. On the bench, that I'd never heard of.
It's a Gumlamak. I can't even pronounce his name. Golamakis or something. I can't write very well either. My stat reports.
Our Lithuanian 18-year-old back, I think. I had to Google him. But what's really impressed me with that is he's brought Callum Marshall in. It hasn't quite worked out. If I was Nuno, I'd be having Callum Marshall in the gym all day, every day, because he just needs a bit more strength. That's what he's missing. But we're doing that, and we've sent him back to the under-21s going, look, go and score some goals. We're not just going to keep you on the bench, not playing, not scoring goals, feeling a bit rubbish that maybe when you come on for 10, 15 minutes, maybe even less than that, because we're bringing Souček on as the striker and whatever it might be. We're not going to do that with you, which is what we'd have done under Potter. It's what we'd have done under as many managers I can remember, to be honest. We've gone, no, we're going to put you back in the under-21s. We're going to get you scoring some goals, and then we'll bring you back in when you're ready. And it's where we messed up with what's his name that then went to Man City and is now on loan.
Mbama.
That's the guy. It's something we've done so many times with young players. We've brought them in, it's not quite working. We've just bunged them on the bench to make up numbers. And instead, we're not doing that. And I think that that's got to be kudos, not just to the manager, but to Potts and to the other guys from the under-21s and the under-18s that are around him now and clearly giving him that advice that, look, we need to get him some confidence. So let's go and get him some confidence.
Absolutely. More comments. Hi, all, happy days. Come on, you irons. I think Bowen will be happy but well cheesed off with Walker Peters for nicking that goal. I would BS out. Very good. Indeed. Loved Fulkrug's passion, but he's not a Premier League player. Far from it. Wilson gets a week off now. Tell Wilson put his feet up for a couple of days now. His job is done. for a few days, and it is a much better weekend after. And that kid's a future superstar. Golan
Yeah,
Bekis, I think he's just signed his first pro contract, so I want to
yeah,
keep an
it's
eye on that.
him.
And yes, hopefully no injuries on international duty. Bones going off with England, Paqueta's going from Brazil, Souček is going with the Czech Republic. All sorts of players flying here, there, and everywhere over the next 14 days. Hopefully they all come back unscathed for Bournemouth away in a couple of Saturdays' time, where now, boys, we go into that with Bournemouth flying high, but not as fluent as they probably could be. We go into that game now thinking, let's try and nick a point down there and put in another. Oh,
I think we lost you for a
I've
second,
got no
Jake.
idea what happened there. There's a surprise. Honestly, useless. Get me back to Wembley where I've got decent Wi-Fi. Thank you very much indeed for watching. Drop a like on the video and subscribe to West Ham Official if you're new. And Jake did buy the beers today. Yeah, there was a couple of
Oh my
rounds.
gosh.
Yeah, and it's not cheap pints at Wincanton Races either. But I won some money. I doubled my money
Oh.
with the do you know what? If you win, you stay with the same bookie. And the woman, she said to my granddad, she went, "That's a lovely lad you got there." And I went, "You know what? Of course, and that did happen. I made that up because and I don't know why she thought I was good. I don't know why she thought I was good because I went up because I put 2 bets on with her and I won with both of them. So I mean,
Oh
I
Lord.
wasn't breaking. I wasn't, to be fair, I wasn't breaking our bank as
Gotcha.
to be expected. I wasn't putting that much money on. So
Gotcha, man. I haven't been on it for a while. You're actually spending some money now. I'm shocked.
very rarely, as Sam will tell you, very rarely.
No, you bought me a pint. I was there. I saw it with my own eyes.
Thank you.
It
Yeah, I
wasn't
bought
a
Sal
stick, it
pint
wasn't
the other week.
in the grounds either. It was a proper pint in a proper pub.
It was a
He's
pint
living
and a
the life
cow.
now.
Yeah.
He
I'm not
did come out with a
surprised.
half for himself because he
I
wouldn't
did come
break
up
the
with a
bank.
half for myself, but that was more that was more thinking about the quality of the vlog more than anything. But but yes, I bought Gary a pint at the Newcastle game last week. Everyone's getting in on the act.
I know I need to get over there and get me a pint. You owe me at least one or
Uh,
two.
we'll see about that. Very good. Of
Yeah.
course, thank you very much, Larry and Sam, for joining me. Have a fantastic rest of your weekend. Now West Ham have got another win. Wow.
Awesome.
Who thought it?
Awesome.
Who thought it? From us, come on, your irons, and
Come
we
on,
will see you
guys.
soon right here on West Ham Official. Thank you very much, and bye bye. Cheers, gents. Thank